All right, here we go, you guys. It's another fantastic episode of VPR Radio. It's your girl, Kiana the Goddess. I'm here with the one and only DJFMI in the building. How are you, my dear partner?
Oh man, VPR. I was running a little bit tardy today. It's just we've been busy. We've been busy. VPR has been such a blessing, and I really want to tell us what we have going on next week, planned for Wednesday. But I don't know if we want to keep that under the wraps for now.
No, I don't think we should. I think we should unwrap the bow, partner. Okay, let it out the bag. We
So
want
guys,
everybody to pull up.
you know what? Next week we will be going live interviewing Tag 24 News, and I'm very excited to be working with them and actually getting to interview them. Kiana, you could give them a little bit more info upon
Yeah.
how you met them.
Oh yeah, so we met them. If you guys remember the footage that we did from the yacht party that we attended, which was great, that skyline around Manhattan. It was a very
Oh, man.
peaceful and serene kind of boat ride. My partner and I had the rare chance to really have time to chop it up together, because usually if we're attending something, we're like, okay, this is our game plan, so we're like in plotting mode. If we're producing event together, then he's doing his thing with audio setup, I'm doing my thing with the other production factors, and it's like busy, busy, busy. We come, we set up, we break down, we go, we wish each other love. But like to have that time to reflect over the years that we've been working together and the shows that we've done and the people that we've interviewed, and then meeting Tag 24 was great. So definitely I want you guys to look forward to that footage. It's gonna be great. We're gonna go and do a real beautiful VPR episode for Tag 24 Media. So shout out to them. They're great. They hail from Germany, and now they have their flagship here in New York. So it's going to be a great production. Make sure you guys check it out.
VPR, we make sure we try to keep ourselves busy outside of
Yes.
what we do, even with our private entities and everything like that. Shout out to everybody that's still supporting the Win and Wednesday
Hi, you guys.
showcase and our VPR playlist on Spotify. And I see our DM jumping with a lot of people that's trying to get interviewed. Guys, as far as it comes to getting on our platform, we would like to vet all of the artists or anybody that comes on the show. So, they have something to bring
Yes.
VPR that will actually enlighten our guests. I mean,
Yes.
enlighten our viewers.
And if I may, when it comes to interviewing, because unfortunately we did encounter one situation out of our years of working together where we had an artist that was really just like against following the platform, which to me doesn't really make much sense, because if you're not following the platform, then why do you want to be on our platform? So a prerequisite to being able to interview with VPR Radio, and we do not charge artists, you know what I mean? We promote your flyer, we promote you, we'll put you on our Spotify playlist. All of this is done. We do this for the passion and the love. You know what I mean? We're not here to milk artists, because there's other business things that we do and that we can offer to artists that are separate, but we bring a different level of professionalism. And the only thing that we ask is that you follow us. So please, if you want to be interviewed and you don't have a team of people, you don't have a publicist or a manager, that's fine. I don't mind when artists will send us an email, which is what you have to do, vpr.radio@gmail.com. Send us an email with your EPK, with your music, or if you're an author, an actress, whatever it is that you are working on in your career and you'd like to be interviewed for. And make sure that you're following DJFMI, VPR Radio, and Qiana the Goddess. That's all we ask.
It's just, you know what I mean? It's just
Promote it. You know what I mean? Like, we're on your team. We'd like you to be on our team too. That's what helps us to continue to grow and bring you the content that you love.
you know what I mean? And that's why we've been here for how many years it's been now? I think it's like it's
4.5, partner.
4.5 years, and just
Hi,
producing
everyone on the IG.
just producing, high-end content for hip hop and other means. So
Yep.
if you do want to get on the show, make sure you are following us. Come correct, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It is a business. We are doing this with love, and of course, we bring business out of this. So just
Yeah.
come correct. That's all we ask. You know what I mean? Don't do anything extra. But Qiana, I ain't gonna lie. Got a few things on my mind today before
Let's
we
talk
have
about
our
it.
dope guest pull up, because I've been looking forward to having him back on the show.
Yes.
So
He
boom.
pulled up and did sound check by accident a few minutes ago.
You see what I'm like? An artist pulled up to do a sound check for
Yes.
the podcast
Facts.
online, virtually. You gotta love it
Facts.
on the VPR.
But tell me what you want to talk about, partner. I'm
So
gonna
New York City, tri-state area, and the world. I don't know if you see when you're driving through Manhattan, we are now they're now talking about the numbers for the congestion taxes, where they're starting to charge past that certain street. I think it's going to be from like $9 to $23. And they're gonna basically that rakes in another 20,000 that people that drive have to pay a year towards just mass transit. What?
That is insane.
So yeah,
now, I heard about this being plotted a couple of years ago, but see, this is what happens when people aren't paying attention and you're so dumbfounded by all of the white noise that's happening around you. You don't know the local laws that they're passing, just like they made New York an open carry law under the, under the table on the real sly. A lot of people still don't even know that that's the case. You know what I mean? Like, and this went kind of hand in hand with the federal abortion law. So yeah, a lot of things, you got to pay attention to what's happening around you locally.
It's a lot of misleading information, and I feel like we're just getting bombarded every day with new headlines where it's easily gets overtaken if you're not paying attention. But as far as the city just making more money, New York alone, they're easy passing all their bridges that they retake. They're saying that they're using the money that they're making from taxing us for MTA infrastructure. Yo, and what bothers me is I've never been in the subway yet and not seen a rat running around. So how much millions are we going to invest, all right, in New York?
How about, besides the rats that are running around, like let's be real, because I've been taking MTA for years. How about the countless homeless people that are roaming around, the countless mentally ill people that are roaming around, sleeping on the trains, urinating on the trains? Like, where's the continued police presence and safety on the trains? I mean, just go to Broadway Junction and just stand there for like 15 minutes, bro. Just stand between, like at the bottom of the escalator between the J trains and the A trains, like it's lit. And there's a police station right there.
Lit.
And the police station is right there, and it's still lit AF. You understand? Somebody said drop my friend and her babies at Broadway Junction the other day. I was like, what?
Let me walk you down there. You need a taser? Do you need a taser? Just in case.
No, honey, we got her in an Uber, honey, because I was like, that is good.
No, but for me, just waking up and seeing that, I'm just like, I do hope that the money's being used correctly. That's all we can do and hope with all the taxes that we pay. But it's just another way New York City is just becoming more just
a big part of the problem is a lack of accountability, right? Because the fact of the matter is that these other outside New York City brings in a lot of outside contractors, MTA, all of these different corporations, right? Mm-hmm. And these contractors are billed at whatever high rate per hour. And then they also get overtime. And a lot of times there's overtime. All of those things are being stretched because there's long amount of times where they're just sitting idly. You know what I mean? Nothing is happening.
Get in the bag.
Nothing is going on. Get in the bag. They're going on lunch, they're taking all these long breaks, and they're still having all of these billable hours. So like, where's the accountability? You know what I mean? Like, where's the audits to these books and what's happening? Because the fact of the matter is that MTA is always screaming that they're broke. But every time I do happen to go into the MTA system, the whole train station is broken down, but I'll see some new, LCD screen with a bunch of different commercials waiting for it. I'm like, how much did that cost?
I don't know.
Where's our priorities? It's like living in the projects, driving a Benz, getting hardwood floors on your project floors. You feel me? Like, you're investing in something you don't own.
And that's what kills me. And that's the perfect example. I'll never forget, much time we go and pull up to the hood and you see a Bentley parked out front. First off, if you could afford a Bentley, why are you even here?
Facts.
Why are you renting?
And let me tell you something. That's all about to change too, because if you guys are not aware, they're privatizing housing. They're privatizing housing. They're going to gentrify it. They're going to put all of that rent all the way up. Okay.
I tell people, when I see people
that are have that rent restrictions and stuff, that's going to be broken. And what's that going to do? It's going to push you out so they can continue to maintain and improve on those grounds.
I always tell people, if you live in the hood and you see them build a Home Goods next to it, understand your home is as good as gone. Your home is as good as gone if they build a Home Goods next to your project. I promise you that.
FMI is crazy. Your home is, if they build a Home Goods in your hood, your home is as good as gone.
Yeah, that's your home is their home. That you're going to get bought out. And that's why, you know what I mean? We live in New York, so that's happening more and more. And they're pushing native New Yorkers out, and you're
Yeah.
seeing everybody go to Florida, you're seeing them go to Texas, you're seeing them, and it
North
is
Carolina,
it,
South
it sucks, but
Carolina, Atlanta, Virginia.
it sucks. It just here we are.
Yeah.
But Kiana, I got a better question for you.
Yeah.
So early 2000s, I'm gonna bring you back, right?
Okay. I like
What
that.
is your what? Explain the blow up of Murder Inc. to me, because I want to break this down on VPR, so we can explain what's going on with Irv Gotti in these headlines right now. So
Well, I think that it's and shout out to Ashanti, who's also a Libra like us partner, right?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
So when it comes to things like this, I feel like there's so much he said, she said. We kind of have to extrapolate information from each story and see the components that make sense, because I don't think anyone is going to be fully transparent. And I think when it comes to Irv, like there's a lot of emotion still, clearly, which has got to be uncomfortable for his wife.
VPR, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I find this is great TV, great YouTube, great content. Irv Gotti didn't have to get up there and do this, all right? Hence why I asked Kiana, because I was on the 50 Cent side of the whole situation. So when I seen my inception of Ja Rule, he always just had the hits. I didn't see Ja Rule. I just heard he was in the streets, but I just knew 50 Cent was the stop of all that at one point. So what was Ja Rule's come up? So at least I could see it from your eyes if you were paying attention to that. I don't know.
I know that he was getting the dopest features and he was on the rise. You know what I mean? He worked a lot with Ashanti, clearly, but he also worked with J-Lo and so many other singers that he did songs with. And a lot of people say he was the first to integrate like hip hop and R&B, but I disagree. I really kind of attribute that more to LL Cool J.
Whoa. I'll contribute that to Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill is a given. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's a whole different kind. You talking about singing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
That's a different level, honey.
I'll be breaking it down.
We can't put them in the same. That's not the same. Okay. Lauren is definitely, queendom. But not to say that Ashanti and they're not, but it's just different. You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of people attribute rapping, singing to Drake. And I'm like, nah, we could take that back to Ja Rule. We could probably even take it back, I'm sure, to some of these hip hop groups from, the 80s. And you feel me? Because they had all of the elements and dancing. So the talent is there, but I love watching the elevation of music. That was a really, really good time for music, and particularly for hip hop and R&B.
What I loved about that, at least with the older era of hip hop, everyone sounded different from their own region, and and it was frowned upon to sound like someone else. So regardless of you rapping, you would try to do zany things in order to stand out. That's why I like the Busta Rhymes, the EPMD, and you know what I mean. So for that's what I enjoyed about it the most. The Midwest,
the diversity.
When Ludacris came, I was like,
oh yeah,
what is this? Why are you rapping like this?
You know what I'm saying? Like when Biggie did that song with Bone Thugs, I mean.
Gin and Juice sounded weird to me forever. It's just like, why is it so slow? But it's hip hop.
Because I was rolling down the street smoking indos, laid back with my mind and my money and my money and my mind.
I'm mad you said don't hold it. VPR. But back to the Murder Inc. situation. For me, for Irv Gotti to get up there and just be so what would be the best word, Kiana? Just to be so I wouldn't say outlandish, but just to be ousting people on their personal life, you know what I mean? At his age. I especially don't like for men to do it. I don't like for women to do it. I mean, I just feel like, when is it sacred? I wouldn't be surprised if Ashanti doesn't even respond to this. Oh, she already, I think she did.
Oh, okay.
I think she did on like stage or something like that. But
okay.
It's so messy. You sit down at Drink Champs and you watch him.
That's what happens. They get you drunk and you start spilling the truth.
and it provides good content. But when you get the backlash of it, Murder Inc. was one of the biggest regimes of what they did.
Yeah.
And for him just to get up there and just say, nah, screw that. For the artist that he propped up and,
I agree.
Had this with, it's just
And that's why professionalism lends to your credibility. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what happens, you have to maintain your professionalism. We've been through some things, partner, with people. We've seen it and we've been like, what is this madness? And at all times, we maintained our composure and our professionalism and just burned those bridges and kept it moving. So if you don't learn, like we often talk about, the business, you know, how to function as a business and as a brand, then this is the type of thing that happens, and it's messy. I'm a vault keeper, so even my enemies, still I still hold your secrets.
You know what I mean? What we do in times of war is what we do in times of war.
Exactly.
But for him to sit up there and say, "Oh, I wrote her that hit after I finished smashing in the shower in 2004."
I didn't even hear all that.
My
brain process. I can't
first hit
more than a couple of minutes of fuckery.
Me either. And I was just saying, it felt so bad to my soul. It felt so bad to my soul to be hearing somebody saying, "Oh yeah, after the."
That's crazy.
I wrote her this, and that was her only hit in 2005. She hasn't had a hit since I wrote her in 2005.
I wonder how his wife feels hearing shit.
Yo, you know what I'm saying? And
relationship.
And now they dragging in Ja Rule and all the extraness, and it's a messy situation. Hopefully,
like, I got enough problems. But listen,
thank you. You see the Pride Festival? You see that shit ain't bounced back.
Like, don't bring my name up anymore. I'm trying to get it back in credibility. But we're gonna bring Dante. We're gonna bring our incredibly talented guest up to the stage. Happy to see him. We have so much to talk about because I know he's been out here on the grind. Dante,
what's up, man? How y'all doing?
We're great. Welcome back.
It's good to be here. Good to be here. How y'all doing?
We're doing great.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I am tired. I've been running around. I was at SOBs and doing shows and concerts all weekend, and I'm rolled into this here. So I'm just going through the motion, but we here.
Yeah, I got you, man. I got you.
No sleep. Like, shout out to DJFMI for real, man. He's the most hardworking man in the industry.
Also, Dante, before you popped in here, we were just speaking about hip hop and during the early 2000 era, 90s era, where every region sounded different and no one artist tried to like. And that was just a beautiful part of music back then, at least.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What music did you listen to back then, early 2000s? What artists were you checking out back then?
Well, I grew up actually not able to listen to secular music, man. I'm a preacher's kid. So I literally was just only listening to gospel music. But what I did enjoy that I was listening to on the radio from time to time when I wasn't at home, when you're talking regionally, you know, Nelly was killing. That was pretty cool. But that's St. Louis. The Brat was awesome for us, man. You know, she actually, her family lived on the west side of Chicago. And so I grew up around her folks. So it was kind of like a real pleasure to like get a chance to see her in person. But the Brat, Crucial Conflict, Twister, the CDs I was able to steal from my older brother. For me, that was a sound that I loved because it's kind of like, I mean, the Midwest is the South low key, but it was like Chicago sound was like, because we have a blues history and a history with jazz and gospel and soul music, it can kind of feel like if I think of the old Brat stuff of Crucial Conflict, I could hear like UGK on them same beats though. You know what I'm saying? Like low key, it was like the South was very much in there, but then the Brat had like that like LA kind of boom, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I would say I checked them out. Man, Glenn Lewis. Remember Glenn Lewis?
You say I can't. I'm gonna have to do my homework. Glenn Lewis.
Man, yes you do. Don't you forget it. Don't you forget your way home. Remember that joint? That little girl.
You've heard that.
To your world. Man, it's a killing joint.
Can I just say, we love when we could get the live singing on VPR radio.
Okay? Yeah, he went into character.
We didn't hear you the first time.
Hey, so yeah, Glenn Lewis, Tank. You know, Tank it really got big then. Man, Andre 3000 low key. I was like, you know, I was in high school from 2000 to 2004, so he was a major influence for me. Fashion wise, you can see him wearing the scarves and like quoting all this 70s stuff. I kind of got that from him low key. But then for real. But then outside of that, it was really just a lot of gospel music, and that's also when I first got into jazz too. About that time, so it was like all over the place. And then, once I got to college in 2004, I was in Nashville, so that was like my introduction to 3-6 and UGK and all the North Side, South Side chop and screw music out of Houston. A lot of my classmates were from the Bay Area, so it was like that whole like Tell Me When to Go, it just came out. Drop It Like It's Hot, it just came out. And it was wild, man. Can't Stop This Pimpin' was like the hit.
I don't know if I'm familiar with
UGK, man.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Can't Stop This Pimpin'. It's 8 Ball and MJG.
Okay. I'm like UGK.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because that you couldn't listen to secular music. So while I didn't grow up in like a Baptist church or whatever, when I was around maybe 6 years old, my mother started studying with Jehovah's Witnesses. So everything is worldly. So I wasn't allowed to either. But I used to be at my grandmother's house making pause tapes off the radio. You guys remember pause tapes?
Yeah.
And I could never do it with Funkmaster Flex because he'd be talking through the whole thing. And I used to be like, oh, man.
Were you recording over somebody else's tape, so you actually had a blank tape?
No, sometimes I have blank tape. Sometimes I have to put the tape and be like, oh, I don't need this anymore.
Yeah. Man, that was such a science. Y'all remember doing that stuff. Yeah.
Yes, we became like technicians and engineers to get our music. You feel me?
Yeah. Now we have iPhones and digital streaming, and we were forgetting that we had CDs and tape decks, and when you have to go over a bump, your thing used to skip and be like, God damn, that's my favorite part of the song. Now I got to bring it back from the beginning.
Yeah, man.
Anyone ever played a tape so hard over and over that you popped it and you just did a little snip and tape back together so that you wouldn't have to throw it away again?
I wasn't that good.
Really? I was so delicate with it. Little scissors, tiny little piece of scotch tape with some tweezers.
Oh man, yeah. I just left it alone at that point.
Oh, well, I was like, no, you gonna play again.
Well, what's going on, Dante? I see on your Instagram you are everywhere. You're on stages. You're playing. You're doing skits. You're doing it all. How's everything been with the music? Have you been in the studio? Are you working on new projects?
Yeah, man. I've been in the studio a lot for other people's projects. To be honest, right now I'm in a highly collaborative point in my career where I'm kind of managing projects and producing for people versus being the artist. So that's really taken a lot of time, slow walking, and just ensuring that every move is right, because I'm helping somebody else spend their money, but then it's like, it's also my name. So I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying?
You're not trying to give the sauce without and you have.
Yeah. So it's been a lot of fun. I have a project that I've been working on called the Finding Rhythm Collective. There's a neuroscientist, a musical neuroscientist named Dr. Jessica Phillips Silver, who has decades of research on the benefits of and the synergies between music and specifically rhythm in the brain development, as well as how we connect as human beings. And so this started, I think I may have mentioned some of it when we had our first interview, but this was one of the projects during 2020 that helped me not fall into too deep of a depression, because all the gigs are gone. And that there was a grant that we got through DC Arts and Humanities Council to do a musical that we couldn't because everybody had to quarantine. And so we said, hey, let's do an EP, which I produced. And it was a lot of fun because it's Afrocentric in that we're looking at the diaspora relative to rhythm. So starting in Africa, within the continent, within the Congo, within countries within West Africa, and then pretty much following that journey through the people who were taken in slavery and going to Latin America, the Caribbean, and then landing in Washington, D.C. So it was a lot of fun to be able to bring together folks from kind of like the span of my career for, the music from the continent. I have some good friends, man. Mama Sylvia, who leads an amazing dance troupe here in Washington, D.C., a traditional African dance troupe. A good friend of mine, Amadou Qianathegoddess, who's I think he's over 350 generations of kora players. Kora is the original instruments from Senegal. The griots use it. So the griot in African culture is the person that held all the history, but we, told our history by telling it versus writing it down. And so the kora is like a dried out calabash with like 18 to 20 strings on it. This is the mother of the banjo. And it has a skin on it, and they play it like, so I was able to, I used to play for him, but I was able to bring him on. A brother named Wasuf Gure, who played what's called the balophone. It's kind of like a smaller version of the marimba. Another good friend of mine who played for this cat named Vusi. Vusi is a great singer out of South Africa. And then like cats from DC who, play go-go or jazz. So it was cool to just reintroduce myself like, hey, typically when I'm on the gig with y'all, you're telling me what to do. Now this is my arrangement. This is what I want you to do. I want you to be as free as possible, but like, welcome to like the vision version of Dante versus just smacking some drums and yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm having it here in front of me, and I'm watching you.
Can we stream that right now? Can we stream that album?
Yes, we released one music video called Soul Beat Connection, which is the debut single for the musical / EP. So that's on YouTube right now. Soul Beat Connection. And that summarizes the whole show. Everybody has a soul, we have a heart, we have a mind. Through the rhythm and the music, we then are able to actually connect with each other. And so we're going to be at the Kennedy Center this fall. They just announced it for their children's stage, doing programs for District of Columbia Public Schools as well as a public show. It's a 300-seater theater, and it's music that I arranged, and I'm like the MD of it, but then I'm also a main character, Father Rhythm, which kind of embodies being able to represent and tell that story, which is new for me because most of my stuff is about love and relationship, but in this
VPR, please check out his YouTube. This man has range that's out of this world.
Thank
when
you,
it comes to his music. Like I bump it on my Spotify playlist. I enjoy it. Just go check that out. All of you,
man. So it's an interesting space to be in now, where it's a children's musical, but I have to speak to, and how do I say it? Because I want to make a point, but I don't want to like go too hard with saying this music didn't just appear in America. It didn't just magically get here. So we have to make that point that it's through slavery and people being taken from that home, but they kept what they knew, and that's what brought us to this point. And it's like I'm still working that out because like I'm acting in this as well as singing, and then kind of MDing at the same time. It all in character. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
And I feel like that's needed in America. We run from our hard truths. We
Yeah.
really do. And we want to turn the blind eye to it as much as we can. So when he's doing it on a musical level where he's like, hey, this music got here from here.
Yeah.
And it came with this pain. It came with this, all of this. That's why it's here now. And I think that's the beauty. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. And I think go ahead, Goddess.
No, I was going to say that, our history is so rich, but what's often told in American schools is from one side, and a lot of our history is lost. So to be able to tell that, and then through music, which is so healing, I think it's powerful. Like you said, it's an ugly truth that needs to be discussed, but I think there's so much beauty that's connected to that. So
yeah, and we're also fighting against because
I heard that deep breath.
Yeah, I'm just saying, black people and people of color for generations have been saying, listen to us, right? Like just saying that, like slap the mess out of my heart. But we've been saying that for so long, right? But then it's like we're battling also this woke culture where it's like now having the understanding that you need to listen is kind of just enough. It's like a badge now. Like, it's crazy. You have these problems, man. I read this book. It's this, and this, and this. And this ain't just, I'm not making fun of white people. This is black, white people that are past a certain economic standing. It's almost like, oh, I know that's your issue, but I know that's all I'm going to do.
Being aware is enough.
Being aware. And it's like, yo, that's not enough, man. It's not enough. And so, hopefully through my art, we'll be able to like I could just drop a little bit on somebody, man,
and all it takes is to touch one person, and
it
will work.
My partner took the words out of my mouth. That's exactly what
I mean. That's the whole preference of VPR. This conversation that we're having here, and people are listening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go forward, man. It pays.
And women as well. I can't discount women. They've also been saying, "Listen to us."
Oh yeah.
So it's really important. Like, and that's also something else I've been doing. You asked, I'm married and got my son is 1 and getting older. And it's been a new thing, being a father, man, like learning to listen to my wife in a different way, listen to my son, and just being more open, and not like so zeroed in on the work and the art that I'm not like kind of living a whole life. I've been trying to do better just in general with like kind of having some balance, man. So
I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah.
Way too often we let things pass us by and we don't appreciate those moments, and especially when you have a family. But I think even if you're alone and you're by yourself, appreciating nature, like the small things really do it for me, but especially with my kids. I mean, those moments, you cannot recreate them. Sometimes you're not taking a picture, so you really have to be in the moment. And we are so focused on our work. We're focused on making the money to pay the bills, to get the house, to do, to keep everything intact. But we have to take the time to appreciate the life that we've built. Otherwise, we're just forever building, And they always say, like, if money is your ultimate goal, you'll never reach your goal, because money is numbers that never end, right? So what's really feeding your happiness?
And I feel like, you know what I mean? As entrepreneurs, musicians, we get lost on the path. We envision the end goal so much that all the blessings that are coming to us on that path, we ignore sometimes. Or our eyes are closed. And I'm the main person for that. You know what I mean? I look at it, wake up, I get events, I get this, that, and the third, but it's never enough. The stage is never big enough. And I tell myself, yo, you're doing great for years. Just be happy at where you've come. Then you made a living from music. And you still do. You wake up and decide what you do every day. And that is the most freedom that I can ever ask for.
Exactly. And getting at what you all were talking about before I came on, that's why I pay attention to shows like Drink Champs, the Barbershop, the Breakfast Club. I don't look to see the gossip. I look to get jewels from people who've done it longer or had deeper impact professionally that I ain't got to pay for. So to like here, I was watching the interview Busta Rhymes was doing about, the impact drinking and smoking had on his health. Like straight up almost took him out, and how it impacted his career. And I mean, I'm an artist, man. I love the Chief too. And, Hennessy's my friend. But it's like, if we're talking longevity, in some ways we got to get out of, I guess where we initially came into the craft. Like when I came in, I was taking gigs for an eighth. For real, of weed.
That shit is real. So you good.
But I was like that hungry. I'm just like, man, forget the money. I'll take that sack or whatever. And
play
4 hours because I'm just trying to get on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but just you can't make that forever.
Yeah.
It has to transition. So
right. Not to mention that what Henny does to your vocals. You know what I mean? Alcohol in general, you can't constantly drink and dry out your vocal cords.
Exactly.
Even if you're not a singer, you're on stage, you're going out of breath, your voice is drying up, you got a frog in your throat. Like,
tell them DJs to stay away from the hookah too. You can't become
the whole time.
The club owners can't be coming here with no $150 and no hookah and thinking that's good for 5 hours. We ain't that.
Man, I thought that was just LA, man. I know they did that in New York too.
Hell no, they trying, bro, $150 and a hookah, and they'll look at you. They sold one bottle. That one bottle is your pay. So I'm just like, get the hell out of here.
That's crazy.
Anyway, but you know what I mean? These are some of the things that you learn just down the line that you pick up of being a musician or being an entrepreneur, just going into any field. You have people that are trying to leech from you, take things from you.
Sure.
It sucks from your craft. It sucks from your creativity. And you got to overcome somehow.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
But y'all, you do have to put that sweat equity in. You know what I mean? None of us can deny that. Even if it's not like you might not get an eighth or a drink. You know what I mean? It's like just the benefit of being there to work with a particular person or producer or whatever. So, bear that in mind as well. Just as in any industry, think of like internships and stuff. There are some times that you're going to have to go out and do some things. Once you make your way, it's like, no, this is my rate. And my rate is non-negotiable, sir, ma'am.
Yeah.
Speak about rate. Look at what Dante Pope is. I when we first interviewed him, I was listening to his music. Now our second interview, I'm listening to him speaking about working with other artists and directing their sound, and that's the beauty of the craft now. You know what I mean? His elevation from when he started, he didn't think that he would be helping curate stage sets and concerts and curate content like this. You were just trying to create music.
Yeah.
Elevation. That's what we're here, man.
That's a beautiful thing, because you've been doing this well over like 20 years, Dante, right?
Yeah, man. I'm 36, 37 now. Yeah, I started when I was like 15, man. Yeah.
Well, I say, look at 2 Chainz. He had to change his name from Titty Boy to 2 Chainz.
Right, you right. Titty Boy. You never got a problem saying Titty Boy to 2 Chainz.
Hell yeah, I go up to, hey, Titty Boy.
Yeah, I wish I would have had him, man. I had a little A&R internship with Universal Music Group back in the day, and I just missed him. I had to push the Fireman joint, Lil Wayne's joint.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yummy Bingham. Where is she at? You know Yummy Bingham? She's out of New York. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. She did that joint. Much more than they can always see. Much more. Okay. Much more they always see, believe me. I'm trying to, but what rap group is that? They did I saw it on Dave Chappelle, and then I'm tripping. Who did Stakes is High?
You know all the
music. You on it. You on it.
No, it's a hip hop group. Stakes is High. Oh my gosh. De La Soul.
There you go. I'm about to say
De La Soul. Yeah. They had she used to run with them. Luke James.
Okay.
Luke James used to be in a group called Luke and Q. It was he and another brother from New Orleans. And but yeah, like 2 Chainz was pretty cool, man. And he was right there because I think he he played basketball at Alabama A&M.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But he was like a couple years ahead of me for sure. But yeah, man. Outside all that, I got like one more thing that I'm doing, and it's always something. But in North Carolina, I remember we talked a bit about the country folk music that I was doing a while ago. 2019, that project, the Black Cowboys album, was nominated for a Grammy. It was done with Dom Flemings, who he was a Grammy Award-winning artist that I was playing drums for. And when he went solo from a group called the Carolina Chocolate Drops. They were like a black fiddle band that won a Grammy in 2013. Nice. And so the project, we got the nomination, 2020 hit, nobody's touring. And so a lot of the opportunity to be able to benefit from not just the nomination, but also the history that was partnered with it, because at the same time, you had the development of all these stories about a gentleman named Bass Reeves. Bass Reeves is a black man who was pretty much like a deputy around the Indian territories in the West, like close to like Reconstruction, but it wasn't. I don't think slavery was over yet necessarily. And the character that Denzel Washington played, he did a couple of Westerns.
Yep.
That was supposed to be, that was like he was playing as Bass Reeves without him saying that's Bass Reeves. But the story and life of Bass Reeves is said to be the inspiration behind the actual Lone Ranger. That's a white man here.
Right.
Based off a black man's story.
What else is new? I mean,
what?
Yeah, dude spoke like 3 languages and would shoot you real quick.
Amazing.
Real quick. I mean, he was known for that, man. Like in the book on Bass Reeves, it was said he would like hum. I forgot the movie that Denzel did, but it was said that he would like hum a spiritual like before he would get into a gunfight and like get out of that joint.
And then pew 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 pew.
Right. But the name of the project is called the Black Cowboys album. So
okay.
We are
I'm gonna download that as soon as I get off.
Yeah, so we're doing the International Bluegrass Festival in North Carolina from the 28th of September through October 2nd, and it'll be the first time, man, since I would say the opening of the African American Smithsonian here that our trio has been together. So we Dom Flemings, myself, and Brian Farrell. And what's interesting is, I guess everybody's kind of leveled up. Typically they would just say the Dom Flemings trio. Mm-hmm. Now the bill says Dom Flemings, Dante Pope, and Brian Farrell.
Okay, they like
the beauty of it.
All the names. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. That's beautiful. You have your hands everywhere, Dante. I mean, how exciting! That's got to be such a beautiful thing to really just be constantly busy, but doing so many different elements of what you love. Mm-hmm. So tell us this hard question, right? What's your next move?
Exactly. Yeah. Well,
honestly, this. You said what? You said years?
Yeah, let's say 6 months, a year, 3 years down the line.
I'll be honest with you. This is the first time I'll say this, and I ever have relative to my art. But I think I'm gonna be still for right now.
Wow.
The projects that I'm working on, especially the education project. I have another one that I'm doing that I can't necessarily speak to, but it would be in collaboration with a pretty notable museum that I'm hoping I'll get the clearance to go into this next round of consulting with them until it's done.
Good vibes.
But I'm enjoying just being still because it's giving me perspective on how to enter into partnerships. Mm-hmm. And I'm also seeing where I messed up when trying to reach out to get at people before. Because it's like I have some representation, but in a way I'm my own management as an indie. And so, they're just cultural dynamics that are different. If I'm reaching out to like a radio station versus a blog or a producer. And honestly, I've been stumbling around all of that. I think partially that's why I've had to do a lot on my own, just because it's like, oh, okay, maybe I messed up that email, or I didn't have the rate this cat needed. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm kind of just being still and figuring out where my voice is. I will say in the next 6 months, I've been partnering with my big brother Wes Felton on music, producing for him, but he's producing a project for me. It's kind of like an electro funk project.
Okay.
But I'm trying not to reference any of the soul licks or even timbre that I use. Like I'm kind of going for like
you're pushing yourself. You're taking away one of your superpowers and trying to get it.
Like a Daily meets Michael McDonald meets Thundercat.
Wow.
Okay.
I love
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Daily is like, okay, that's soul. Thundercat kind of got this like effort to his singing where it's like, it'll work. It's real.
That'll do.
Yeah, but then Michael McDonald has like his timbre or something else. So I kind of want to like really like see if I could change my sound, like not use vibrato as much, like a straight tone album, use a different range, and like kind of become a character. I think a lot of the music and projects I've done is just like, okay, I got all these songs, like I'll find some commercial. Yeah, but it's like with this one, it's like this is the first time every song will be connected. And it's like a character I'm trying to embody, man. I was looking at how Pusha T was talking about how Pharrell was pushing him with the project that they did. Mm-hmm. And he was saying how Pharrell was like, man, you just rhyming. Like, you know what I'm saying? Get your backpack and get out of here, dog. Like, I need you know what I'm saying? He was like, you know what I'm saying? You want to be a backpacker, go out there and battle rap. But he's like, if we gonna do these records, like I need you to like really become somebody else.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of trying to tap into something like that, man. To like,
I love it. Explore it.
Yeah, just explore a little bit,
It's pushing your artistry, and I'm always here for that.
Yeah.
Anybody can wake up and do the same album that they've been giving for the last few years. But when an artist chooses to pick up on a different sound and key in on it and make it work sonically, that's an artist.
So question, what are y'all spending like when you out, if you doing a party right now, FMI,
okay.
What is New York still New York, only want to hear New York? Or it's like y'all, you're not selfish. You so dense with
Thank
talent,
you for asking me this question. That's great. This one I'm not ready for a VPR. See how you asked me something?
It's your turn to take the deep breath.
So right now, hip hop, drill music is really taking a sound of hip hop music, whereas people go out now and they're waiting for that. Mm-hmm. They're waiting for and there's different types of drill now. So there's hype, there's aggressive, and I could put on the what's my name right. to me, and then into the yummy, and then and into, you see what I'm saying? But yeah, hip hop, New York does still want to hear their champions. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's and good. They want to hear their little babies. They want to hear everyone else, but mostly they're young artists. That's what I must say.
Nice, man.
And that Beyonce too. That Beyonce album,
the new one.
I respect it. Yeah, I respect her artistry. Yeah, I love how she put all of that together and pushed it for her. Yeah. I think that's amazing, and that's why I like. It's akin to what you're about to do, right. And that's why you're about to do some next level. So I can't wait to hear that project also, Dante.
Thanks, man. Right. I appreciate you for saying something positive, man. You know, it's like I can't hate on somebody's artistry, man. It's just interesting, like people who don't do this have so many
entitlement and opinions, and you don't even know what that artist is going through in their life to be creating that body of work. Mm-hmm. But then you could just, this is the most boring shit in the world.
Yeah.
And it's all perspective. So that's what's funny, like, you know, especially with me and Data, I'm like, this is all your opinion. You can't ever throw anything out and say it's based on pure fact, unless it's factual, right? Mm-hmm. Music that you like, we may all completely be sonically attracted to different types of music, and that's okay. You know, for me, and we were talking about this last week when we were discussing Beyonce's album, I love watching an artist climb, whether they're an actor and they start out in these types of roles. And then you see the elevation and the escalation. Then next thing you know, they're executive producing and they're writing scripts. I personally love to see that because it shows. I went back and updated my book because I published a book maybe 11 years ago. I'm like, okay, this is so much has changed, and it's a novel. So I wanted to bring it up to date. And let me tell you something. As I went back updating it, I was like, I'm such a better writer now. It is ridiculous. And people thought I was great then. So I was like, well, wait, see this shit here now. I got something for that ass. You know, so it's like, I love to see that. And I think as an artist, musician, anything that you do, right, that you're doing, that you're passionate about, you should be able to look back and say, wow, I really elevated. Wow, I changed up how I was doing something here, because I don't always want to hear the same thing. I love to recognize who I'm listening to, but I think I can do that because I'm so musically in tune anyway. Naturally, it's like, it sounds different, but I think that's Dante, you know? And I love that because it challenges you to go outside the box, even as a listener, right? Maybe this isn't something you listen to. Somebody put me on to Thundercat.
Yeah.
I was like, Thundercat. I was like, well,
I thought his music was like a meme, or I thought it was a joke at first when I heard it. And then I looked at the video, I'm like, oh, he dead ass.
Right.
This is him now. I'm like, okay, I'm sitting in the car.
And he has some really like zone type shit, you know, that I'm like, I could rock with this. It's interesting. It really, you know, we explore as a listener and as a creator. And I think that's why makes it grow.
Everyone has to check out the VPR playlist because we have some of the dopest acts on their different types of music. You're gonna see Dante Pope on that playlist. And I'm letting y'all know right now, VPR, I'm gonna go outside, have a coffee, turn on the AC, and have an L and listen to Dante Pope in the car. I promise you right now.
Thank you, man.
Seriously. And for you guys that are always complaining, because listen, the reason that FMI and I started this was not just to talk our shit on air, but to be able to help propel a lot of these independent artists. You know, we love working with independent artists. We've worked with independent artists directly, so we know how much talent is there. And it's often something that isn't highlighted. It's like, oh, you don't have 250,000 followers. Well, then you can't get on our platform. I'm like, well, let me hear this. Oh, well, let's bring you on. Because how many times have we had artists that came to us and a day or two later were on Hot 97, Power 105, you know what I'm saying? They hit our stage first because we saw the potential. And then even like months later, they're escalating and they're getting to other platforms. But we took you on because
that's how I felt with Dante.
Talent. Yes.
I appreciate y'all.
Dante is, he's acclaimed already. Like, don't let things fool you when you're looking. I think people get so caught up on like, oh, is that an influencer? But I don't care about that. Martin Luther King said it best, right? The content of the character. And when it comes to music and stuff, especially, I don't want to see all the showboating. I want to hear what you got.
Right.
Hear it live. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. I want to see the talent.
Dante, let everybody know your next show that you're doing, so at least they can pop out before we wrap up this interview. It was exciting to have you back on the show. I love your energy.
And let them know where they can follow you as well and sign up if you have a newsletter or, keep up with you.
For sure. So my website is my name, www.dantepope.com, DantePope.com. My mailing list, you can actually join it there. All my social media is there as well as my music. I'm on Spotify as well, just the normal name, Dante Pope. My latest single is called Whisper. I wrote it. It's a great love song. It's kind of going for like this Curtis Mayfield, Makings of You vibe. So I hope you can stream that, enjoy it. My next show is that International Bluegrass Festival in the end of September into October. September 18th, I'll be playing for an amazing vocalist named Cecily. I've been playing for her for about 10 years. We're opening for the one and only Nate Smith, amazing drummer. His group, Kinfolk, is coming down here. That's another drummer who writes music. He plays like a bunch of instruments. I love that guy. But we're opening for him down here in Washington, D.C. at a place called Union Stage. I'm very excited about that. And just preparing for, jumping into this album and figuring out this character, man, in the fall. But please be sure to follow me, Dante Pope, on Instagram, and I'll be sure to follow back.
I love that. And before you go, can you please leave us with our last positive thought for the day?
Oh, yes, man. Man, that's a serious one. Oh, man. Okay. Man, yeah, you got me with that one. I'm like, so look, all of us have kind of questions daily about where we're going to end up, how aggressively we're going to be able to change our lives or keep up with the pace of the world. I just want to challenge each of you to just take some time. And I know it may sound corny, but just remember all of the other spaces and times where it may have been difficult and you are now on the other side of that. I think life is a continuum of understanding that you're kind of always on the other side because life isn't going to stop. So because life isn't going to stop, don't think that you belong and should be stuck. Love y'all.
Come on, that's perfect.
Okay,
if that's what comes out after the stumble, I'm
that was smooth. I was just like, yeah.
Right? That was eloquently put, and I completely agree because I live like that. I often have to go back. That's why I said it's all about perspective. If you think, the rain is going to make it a negative day, or if you think the rain is going to make it a beautiful day where it's washing away, the negativity in the earth, it's all about how you view it. So we love you here at VPR. Make sure you guys go and follow him at Dante Pope on Instagram, www.dantepope.com. And we will be here live next week. We love you for watching always.
Peace.
You guys. Ciao.